Bay of Fundy. We're getting close. The biggest mud hole you've ever seen, huh? Check it out. There it is. All the water's draining out now because low tide is at 4:30 and it's about 2:30, so we got 2 more hours. All this water will be gone in 2 hours, draining back out to the Bay of Fundy.
I think it's muddy all the time.
Probably.
So I guess boats don't go in.
I have no idea. I guess if you do, you'll get stuck if you don't get out. Well, it's only muddy up here though. I think once you get down towards the actual Bay of Fundy, it's not as muddy as this. This is like the backwaters. There's a good view. Our campground is actually right on the edge of this, a couple miles down. Walk on the ocean floor. Tidal exploration site. So we'll be back around 2 hours, 4:30, when the tide's all the way down.
Maybe we can take a camp.
Here's our campground, 600 meters, which is a couple football fields away.
Right by the big metal.
Camping. See that water's
Turn left,
trapped.
then your destination will be on the left. Your destination is on the left.
So I'll go check in.
Which way should we go, that way or that way?
We are at Hopewell Rocks. The highest tides in the world. So yesterday we saw the longest covered bridge in the world. Today we're going to see the highest tides in the world. Here we go. We're taking the shuttle down to the rocks instead of walking because it's quite a ways on the path. So they also have a nice area here, educational area, with all kinds of great information on the tides, the rocks, the minerals, the formations, life in the Bay of Fundy, mud shrimp. We are at Hopewell Rocks, where the tides go up like 30 feet. Highest tides in the world. We're going to walk down there and check it out. Right now it's low tide. Tomorrow we'll be back for high tide. It's real nice they give you admission for your admission ticket to come back tomorrow for high tide without paying the entrance fee again. So here we go down the steps. Here we go, folks. Down we go. Wow. Crazy, huh? It's one small step for man, and one giant step for mankind. Look at this, folks. My goodness. Look at the erosion up under there. That whole hill could come falling down any second. Which is why I guess it says danger, huh? This is unbelievable. Unbelievable. These are the famous ones right here with the trees growing on the top. Yeah, you wonder how much longer this is going to last. This one here, slowly eroding away. Just a matter of time before that's gone and the whole thing comes crashing down. But it may keep eating back this hillside. Not really, because the tides don't go that high, I guess, right? Hey, let's walk under it. Hope it doesn't fall. Here we are, folks, walking on the ocean floor at Hopewell Rocks, Bay of Fundy. The highest tides in the world, right here. Right now it's low tide. So within a matter of 4 or 5 hours, or maybe 8 or 10, high tide will be back. This will be totally covered with water. Totally covered with water all the way up there. You can see the water marks on the bottom of the staircase there, how high this water gets.
We moved to the United States, Mickey.
Well, that's because the food in the United States is terrible.
Just amazing. This is just amazing. Awesome. What an awesome geological feature. The highest tides in the world right here. The entire world right here at the Bay of Fundy.
Well, you can spray them off.
I guess they say sometimes people actually get stuck out here because they're unaware of the tide coming back in, and it comes in so fast that they don't have time to get back all the way over there to the stairwell to beat the tide coming in. In fact, I think there's another stairwell somewhere over there. It's like an emergency stairwell. If you get trapped, you're supposed to go up there, and you got to wait then until the tide goes back down to be able to get back out. So hopefully I'm not stuck in that situation. But we're going to walk down here and take a look at the actual water churning around. They also say further upstream, when the tide's going out, the water's flowing one way, and when it comes in, it's flowing the other way, just like a river reversing course. going two different directions. It's the Bay of Fundy tides going back out. You can see all the water exiting all these mud holes all around up here. It'll eventually go out until there's just nothing there except mud. Then during high tide, the water comes rushing back in and fills up these mud holes and ditches all around this area. This is just amazing. So glad I got to see this and share it with you folks. I hope you enjoy it. If you ever get the chance, this is definitely a bucket list item. Put it on your bucket list. Well, I'm gonna head back over to the staircase. Tomorrow we're coming back for high tide, so we'll do some comparisons on low tide and high tide, and you can see the difference. I'm assuming that high tide, the actual water goes up to the bottom of those little islands over there. That's all eroded away. So we're talking, what am I, 6 feet? Well, that's probably at least 18 feet just on that erosion there. And if you look out here, the tide's way out there. So coming up to the bottom of that, it's probably another, I bet you 20 feet. Man, these tides must go 50, 60 feet up and down every single day. Just amazing. So after visiting here, getting some footage, we're going to go back to our campground. We did get a spot at the Ponderosa Pines Campground, which is only like basically 2 or 3 minutes away. You could actually have a nice hike over here from the campground without driving.
The flowerpot.
Okay folks, I'm going to head back up the steps. So yes folks, the Bay of Fundy is a definite bucket list. You should come see it. If you have the opportunity, it's a once-in-a-lifetime thing to see. The highest tides in the entire world happen right here. We're at Hopewell Rocks, That's where we went down to the ocean floor, stood right next to those mammoth pyramids. I don't even know what you call them. Probably they're called stalagmites. You know, I mean, they stick up from the ocean floor like a stalagmite in a cave. They're all eroded and there's trees growing on top of them. It's crazy. We're going to be back tomorrow for the high tide. We'll do a comparison with today's low tide so you can see the difference. So I found out what these are called. They're not stalagmites, they're not pyramids, they're called flower pots. Les pots de fleurs. And what's really amazing, the geologists say there's enough conglomerate rock to make these amazing pillars last for the next 100,000 years, which is beyond belief. Just amazing. So I guess we have about 3 more hours until the tide starts creeping back in and high tide becomes, I'm not even sure what time high tide is. It might be midnight or somewhere in there. So we'll be back tomorrow. For now, we're heading back to the campground, gonna do a little dinner. Adios. Ponderosa Pines Campground. Gonna go to Hopewell Rocks for the high tide, and then on to Antigonish and Cape Breton today. Here we are entering Hopewell Rocks, the ocean tidal exploration site. The Chocolate River, there's high tide coming in.
Doesn't look chocolate from here.
That's the sun reflecting.
Yeah.
So you buy a ticket here for $10. It's good for a low tide. You can come back the next day for high tide or low tide, whatever. But it's good for 2 days. But they have to be consecutive days, and we missed yesterday because of all the rain. So we're going to see if they honor it today. Maybe give us an exception, or we might have to pay again. We'll see. So this is where we were walking on the beach yesterday, and the tide is now coming in. It's about another hour and a half to max high tide. Still a few people hanging on the beach watching it come in. You can see in another hour and a half or so, it's going to be up to the bottom of those pillars there where the erosion is, the bottom of the flower pot. Pretty amazing. That tide is 46 feet from low tide to high tide. 46 feet. The world's largest tide. Here we are again, Hopewell Rocks. Bay of Fundy. The high tide is coming in. Yesterday we were out there walking along the beach, quite a ways out, probably 60, 70 yards out there. Walked under the pillars. Still another hour and a half to go for max high tide. So it's going to come up. You can see up here how far up it reaches. Right up here by the danger sign is the edge of the tide. So in another hour and a half, it's going to be all the way up here. You can see the seaweed accumulating right here at the edge of the tide. They're having a guided tour here. There's a tour guide with a group of people. You can see how muddy the water is too from the tide going in and out every day. They actually call it the Chocolate River because it's always mud brown. Here's another cool way to experience the high tide. Come in a kayak, a canoe, or a paddleboard, whatever you have. You can see already from where I was earlier, just in 10 minutes or so, the tide's already coming up another 2 or 3 feet. We're probably not going to stay for another hour and a half to max high tide. We have to hit the road. We're heading up to Cape Breton today. Quite a drive. We're probably going to boondock overnight at Antigonish, or maybe another hour past Antigonish, somewhere right on the bridge entering Cape Breton Island. But you get the picture. The high tide versus low tide at Hopewell Rocks. We're leaving Hopewell Rocks. Got to see the high tide. Well, almost max high tide. There's another hour or so to go. But we have to hit the road. We got to make some time today heading up to Cape Breton. Might be boondocking in Antigonish. If we make it that far, which shouldn't be a problem, we're going to try to get even further, maybe to the bridge going across the Cape Breton Island and stay there for the night. Then our plans for Cape Breton are Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. That's the majority of the week, being up at Cape Breton, Cabot Trail, Meat Cove. Then Saturday, we'll be heading back towards Nova Scotia. Probably try to stay at Antigonish again overnight. Make it into our campground in Nova Scotia at Halifax KOA Sunday afternoon. And then we have another blues jam to attend Sunday evening at 8:30 at Beerley's Ribs and Pub, or something like that. It's called Beerley's Ribs and Blues Bar. Anyhow, at 8:30 there's another blues jam on Sunday evening. We'll be checking that out, so stay tuned.